Good morning. I am Debra Bishop. I'm a principal ecologist with Jacobs out of the Sacramento office. I'm wearing my BeaverCon shirt today. It's another wonderful conference. Those of you who don't know about it should check it out. It's really cool. So this program is for the Department of Water Resources, state of California, and it's an offshoot of their Central Valley Flood Protection Plan. So that is a program they've implemented for devising a plan for meaningful flood management throughout the Central Valley. And an offshoot of that is the conservation strategy, which I've been working on for the past 15 years or so since it was implemented. What I'm going to be talking about today, though, is our work along the San Joaquin River and looking at ways to implement large-scale evaluation of where you can best reconnect floodplains. And that's part of the strategy for what we're trying to do in California, because we've lost 90 to 95% of our floodplains. And looking at changes coming with climate change, you know, there's many reasons to reconnect floodplains, but one of them is to provide flood resilience. So what we've done here is provide a systematic approach that could look at the river by reaches and find the best opportunities to restore the floodplains based on elevation, so topographic considerations, and then looking for willing landowners. Very important. A lot of our initial projects are with other state agencies who own lands, conservancies, and nonprofits. So floodplains are really important for habitat connectivity. And with these multi-benefit projects, we're also looking for other opportunities to improve connectivity. So floodplains are obvious ways of genetic material, plant, animal, to be dispersed among vegetative communities, provides a contiguous vegetation community for migration and genetic dispersal and so on. I'm sure you're all very familiar with that, both from terrestrial species and aquatic species. And so with our conservation strategy for the Central Valley Flood Protection Plan, it had multi-objectives based on restoring physical processes, hydrology and geomorphology. We had target habitats, floodplain, wetlands, SRA, shaded riparian aquatic, riverine aquatic, and we had 21 target species. These are a few of our target species out of the 21 that we're looking to highlight on our projects. So the study area is the Central Valley. What I'm talking about today is the mid-San Joaquin River area, but also includes the upper and lower. We've also done a couple projects on the Cosumnes River and the Pajaro Valley. The Pajaro one, including setback levees, is currently about to go under construction. So that's mostly what we're very interested in, is setback levees, breaching levees where we can, to create that connectivity. So as I mentioned, what we're looking at for this particular program is looking for the easiest ways to reconnect those floodplains based on terrain. So generally height above river is what we're looking at, and finding those parcels that can most readily be connected, and then developing concepts such as I said, setback levees and so on, but also perhaps creating linear channels, setback little channels, mimicking what natural conditions would have been on these areas that are mostly currently in agriculture. And so by doing so, then we can benefit these target species and quantify those benefits by looking at what kinds of habitats are created and quantifying those. This is not for mitigation or anything like that. This is just part of the program to restore floodplains. So it's kind of a win-win-win. So this is one of our concepts on the upper San Joaquin River. This area is particularly degraded due to deep gravel pits that were abandoned. Several of them have been captured by the river, and so you have these deep, warm water, pretty low functioning habitat types. And so in this case, we're looking at trying to fill some of those and create a distinct new low flow channel. So it's a little bit different than some of the other concepts. And another one we're looking at is the city of Firebaugh, which is located right on the San Joaquin River. It readily floods, at 4,500 CFS. It overtops, and you can see here, this is the 100-year flow. And not sure if you can see it very well, but pretty much half the town is underwater at these flows, and it happens pretty often. So this is one of our concepts of looking to shift the water off these developed areas and putting them on the adjacent floodplains by creating, opening up these floodplains, moving the levees, creating these channels, and redirecting some, not all of that water off the floodplain, off the city, trying to make it a little bit better. Another one of our really exciting projects is working with California Departments of Parks and Recreation. They have this gorgeous state park in the middle of Central Valley. It's kind of an oasis, and it's Great Valley Grassland State Park. And so we're looking here to the white dashed lines are levees. We want to completely remove those levees, improve the connectivity here, the flow connectivity, but also this site, both downstream and upstream, is surrounded by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service National Refuge. And so improving connectivity in this vast area that is lacking that. There's also a major highway right here that gets a lot of roadkill happening along there. And so working with parks, working with the refuge, hopefully working with Caltrans and others to look at not only reconnecting this floodplain, but also perhaps replacing these culverts, making something that works for the floodplain by providing that connectivity, but there's really no good terrestrial crossings along here. I was just there last week and saw a coyote standing there at the road looking to cross. And so they also want to reintroduce elk. The elk are on the refuge, and they would like to get them on the state park. And so that's another objective, and as well as enhancing public access to the site by creating more of natural vegetation communities, because a lot of these remnant floodplains are really dry compared to historic conditions. Granted, the hydrology is really messed up on this river, but we're looking to do what we can to improve at least those on-site conditions. And just summarizing, I think I'm out of time, but looking at multi-benefit projects and optimizing those. It's also call it this one landscape approach by creating projects where you can restore floodplains, improve habitat, even looking at groundwater recharge and public access, as well as, of course, restoring those geomorphic processes, such as meanders, which is lacking in a lot of along the river beaches. And yes, we work with the Department of Water Resources. Here are some of my colleagues, and then colleagues at Jacobs, CBEC, and HG Harvey and Associates. So thank you.